What is going on? Kind of back for a minute here, make another part of this next video, stitching this in. Got some more pieces in. I got these Moroso wheel studs. They're the front wheel studs. I was like, why not make them match the back? You know, 1/2 inch, 23-inch long. They don't need to be that long, but whatever. And then I got the little installation tool. It's kind of nice having those, and you just put this lug nut on there, just tighten it up. It'll just suck it in. They're press in. I could just hammer them in too. Then, thanks to somebody reminding me of this on my channel, these are the anti-moan brackets when you do rear disc brake conversion. They're basically like a stabilizer bracket, so these things don't get that vibration and make that horrible moaning sound. And I almost forgot about them. And I had heard about them, and I was like, I just kind of slipped my mind. But now I got them. They're the LMR brand. I'm going to go ahead and install these, so I got to take my disc brakes back apart, which kind of sucks because I got to take the parking brake cable out and do all that fun stuff. Anyways, I'm going to get to it because I can't film one-handed. But basically all you do is one side has you see one side is flat and one side has a notch. The notch goes down, which means this would be your right side bracket and the other one's your left side bracket, because notches are opposite. And then you just slide the U-bolt in there, and you know, bada boom bada bing, you bolt that all up, and this lines up with the Cobra or GT, whichever brake you got, caliper bracket, and then you bolt everything back together. It's not hard, it's just, but it is needed. It is a necessary part. You can't get away without doing that on these Fox bikes when you do a disc brake conversion. You have to have this bracket. It will be really loud when you hit the brakes if you don't. So let me go ahead and install this stuff. I'll be back and I'll show you when it's done. Peace. All right, done with that. Yeah, it took about like 35-40 minutes. I'll just show you one side. It wasn't really hard. I'll show you where it goes. That's the bracket. This is the bracket right here. And you see it attaches to the caliper bracket adapter for these type of brakes. They make them for GT too, but they're different for Cobra and GT. These are Cobras, 11.65. You know, I was gonna take the e-brake cable out. Maybe I should have, but I really didn't feel like pulling that thing apart because this thing's kind of my car is kind of a pain in the butt. You have to pull that clip off. I actually reused the clips from my old brakes and snapped them in place. Kind of worked out. I like that. So I had reused them, and then I just slid into place and just tightened up the bolts evenly. That ought to solve that problem. Now that problem won't happen. I still think my brake cable is too tight, and maybe it's getting pulled on, because I have to wrap it around and under this anti-moan bracket. I don't know that it will go above it, just because it's a straight 90 right there where my thumb is. I don't see how that would work. It would have to go under the bracket. So that's probably the easiest way to route that e-cable. It does work, but I think I need to adjust it out even more. I think it needs to be even more loose. As you can see right there, there's the 8.8 brake adapter and its brake hose going to the axle, just like a 50 Mustang 86 to 93. Yeah, it ain't bad. Everything's all bolted up. You see, this is a torque box reinforcement. That red bar that's running behind there, and it runs to the other side. And then here's a reinforcement on one side. There's one side, and it attaches to the upper control arm like that. And then it boxes that whole thing in so you don't twist the torque boxes out. The lower ones are done right there, and that's done because, well, the subframe connectors have them. They were built into the subframe connector, so they're welded in. So I ain't gotta worry about that. As you can see, sway bar, rear diff cover, rear tank. You see the return line fitting. It's a knurled smashed fitting. It works like a rivet. It's an O-ring inlet right there, so I'm gonna run O-ring, and I found out what I'm gonna do is run not braided line with a rubber hose on the inside, because that's gonna deteriorate with E85 and regular gas. Not just PTFE hose, because that is the hose you run, but conductive PTFE, because it will dissipate static electricity, and you do not want that, especially not with no braided hoses. Steel lines like this and stainless steel lines, you ain't gonna worry about that. But I want to run braided hose because it's probably just gonna be easier to run. And I may just run the return line up along the frame rail or something like that. Obviously away from the suspension. I gotta run the feed line from the sump right there, and then I might run it, I don't know, I gotta put the fuel filter somewhere. I might run it up and put the fuel filter up here, or not up here, probably up there, and then run it up along the frame rail, because I gotta figure that one out, because the exhaust has to come through here. I mean, that's why I have this fitting. The exhaust has to come through here somewhere, you know, because it did come through here before. It has to come out by the back, behind, you know, by the rear quarter right here, behind the axle. I don't want to dump the exhaust. That's not what I want to do. It's just gonna be way too loud. I think that's how I'm gonna run it. Run it from the feed. One feed. I have the other one plugged, and then I'm gonna run my -8 line, because I'm gonna run Frajola fittings. Frajola said that their PTFE line runs one size smaller than what you buy, so I was going to run -6. So really, I have to run -8. -8 line all the way up to the carburetor. So that's how that's going to roll. And then run -8 return line, so that makes sure that it works correctly. The return works right. But as you can see, the old fuel line, it runs up along the railing, and they run it not through the tunnel, but through the back of the trans, like right at the back of the trans tunnel, up and over, and it's over there. It's over there on the driver's side. That's how the pickup was, stock. So wherever they ran it, I'm gonna run it the same way, just not over and across, because I'm like, well, my fuel line's on the driver's side, or my fuel pump's on the driver's side, so why run it across like I did stock? There's really no reason to run an extra amount of fuel line like that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna do that, and then probably because I really don't want to. I mean, the other side, I just ran it up, it just runs up here. It just runs up there along the, and you just got to keep it outside the frame rails, and keep it away from moving parts. That's going to be my two biggest things. Keep it away from the exhaust and keep it away from moving parts, because it's going to come up over in this axle. So I think if I come up and then run it up here, because see, I don't want to run it by suspension parts. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much gonna do what it did on the passenger side. I'm just gonna do it on the driver's side. I'm just gonna follow it until it gets to the frame, until it gets to the subframe connectors, and I'm gonna just run it right by the brake line and stuff. Return and feed lines for the fuel line. I believe that's probably the best way to go. Anyways, I'm gonna just go ahead and finish adjusting the brake cable so I can, you know, this thing isn't so tight. And pretty much gonna stop the video right here for this one. Maybe I'll add a few more minutes to it on another day, but I really gotta get the engine out. That's my next big task. So anyways, stay tuned. Peace out.